fall's a great time to read cozy fantasies, to go and visit kind of like Halloween Town a little bit. Like, one, it makes it a great cozy fantasy, and two, it pretty much guarantees it's gonna like bump up my mood a little bit. A little bit of that fantasy magic in it. Hello my friends, welcome to my channel Discover with Kim. I'm Kim, I'm so excited you're here with me today. Welcome to this week's book chat. This week we're going to be chatting cozy fantasy books that I think you should read. Let's get into it. Okay my friends, so we're just about to cross the fall equinox here where I live in the world, and I figured it would be the perfect time to get all cozy in my cardigan, sit down with you guys, and talk about some cozy fantasies that I think you should read this fall, or honestly, just in general, because they're not really fall based. I just think fall's a great time to read cozy fantasies. But in reality, you could read these books whenever you wanted. So I have 6 books here ready to chat about. Like I said, I'm all cozy up in my cardigan. It is currently 80 degrees outside, feels like 83 degrees, so we'll see how long this cozy cardigan lasts. But we're gonna get right into it, and we're gonna be talking about some cozy fantasy books you should read. The first cozy fantasy book I recommend you read is Wayward by Amelia Hart. This book follows the storyline of 3 different women across 3 different timelines. The first one is in 2019. It's about Kate. She flees London away from her abusive partner to a cottage that her great aunt left her, but she believes that her great aunt had some secrets. The second woman is from 1619, Elsa. She's currently awaiting trial for murder of a farmer nearby, and she's accused of witchcraft. The third woman is from 1942. Her name is Violet. It took place during the Second World War. Violet is struggling with being a woman and not being able to become educated like her brother is, and she's struggling with the fact that she knows nothing about her mother or her heritage. She does have a locket bearing a W on it, and etched into the floor of her room is the word wayward. So these 3 women go through difficult traumas and dramas throughout their lives, and then their stories kind of interweave together throughout, and it is so fun. I love that it is women-based. I love that it is about witches and witchcraft a little bit, but in a different way, and I love that it kind of has a lot of basis in stuff that could be reality. I love the way the story interweaves different women together, and I thought it was so fun and such a great read, and honestly a really interesting one for fall. Next up is A Harvest of Hearts by Andrea Iemes. This book is about magic workers, sorceresses, who come and harvest hearts from villages so that they can make their magic work and keep the kingdom safe. Now our main female character, her heart is accidentally snagged by a sorcerer, so she follows him back to the big city to get it back, and a lot of drama and a lot of different adventure ensues. This book was really fun. I loved that there was a lot of different fantasy to it, but throughout it, it kind of interweaved different storylines, but it kept you interested, it kept you going. It didn't really drag or anything. There was some romance in it, but it wasn't too much romance. It was more of kind of like a yearning romance, and there was a little bit of spice, but honestly, no, I would not consider this book spicy in any way. But it was really good. It was really fun. There is a talking cat, Cornelius, in it, who I absolutely loved. It was a really interesting read. Like I said, it moved pretty fast, and I love that it was a little bit different because they snag hearts and they're working for the king, and there's a whole big storyline to it. A lot of drama, a lot of different stuff going on. The characters were very likable, and I recommend this as a great cozy fantasy read. Next up is actually a book I just finished, and that is A Simple Twist of Fate by April Asher. This book is a cozy fantasy, obviously. It is about witches and honestly a bunch of different supernatural beings. Our main characters are witches and shifters. Our female main character, she is a witch. She fled town 13 years ago because the Fates Festival led her best friend to her boyfriend. So assuming that her best friend and boyfriend were fated, she fled, and it's 13 years later, and she has to return to town because she is trying to help her shifter goddaughter figure out what's going on. So she returns and asks for help of rocking on Elva Pack, and when she gets there, she figures out that our main male character, her ex-boyfriend, is actually Alpha of that pack now. He is a shifter, and he needs to help her goddaughter figure out what's going on. This book was really fun, and I loved the different elements of different supernatural in it, but it wasn't too heavy, it wasn't too dense. The town, Fates Haven, was so cute, and it sounded like such a cute little supernatural town that I just wanted to go and visit, kind of like Halloween Town a little bit. Like I wanted to go there and I wanted to visit, and it just sounded so fun and so cute. And there is a dragon in it in some way. I'm not going to tell you how because I don't want to spoil anything, but there's definitely some fun creatures in it, and there's romance in it. I would say this book does have some decent spice in it, so it does get spicy, as well as it has those cozy fantasy elements. It has the cozy small town. It has a lot of great side characters and some good humor. I loved that there was like a lot of joking around in it, and it was really fun. This is a great, like, fun, lighthearted, cozy fantasy read. The next cozy fantasy I recommend you read is A Teller of Small Fortunes by Julie Leong. This book is about our female main character. She is a small fortune teller. She's a teller of small fortunes. The teller of small fortunes. There you go. She's a fortune teller, and she is traveling from town to town, telling small fortunes so that she can make a living and survive. But this life starts to get lonely. So as she's traveling town to town, she starts to band together with other traveling individuals, and they kind of start to form this found family, and they end up going on an adventure, and it's really fun, and I thought it was really sweet, and I love that it was a little bit different, but it had like adventure in it, and they got to move from town to town, and the relationships that these characters grow with each other are really sweet and really fun, and I like that it's lighthearted. It's not too heavy. There is, again, a cat character in it who I absolutely loved. There's some good animals in this story. One, it makes it a great cozy fantasy, and two, it pretty much guarantees it's gonna like bump up my love of it a little bit. But I absolutely loved this book, and I thought it was really sweet and really fun, and I would recommend it as a great cozy fantasy read, or a great fall read, or just a great read in general. Okay, my friends, we have two more left. Next up is A Fellowship of Bakers and Magic by Jay Penner. This book is actually part of a series. It's number 1 in a series in the Adenishire book 1. So I've only read the first book, but I imagine that all the books in this series are going to be really fun and cozy fantasies, and I've not read the other ones yet, but I have a feeling once I do, I will be recommending them and I will be loving them, because I really, really loved this book. This book follows our female main character. She's a human in a world where most people have some kind of magic. There's orcs, there's witches, there's elves, there's dwarves, there's anything you can imagine. There's fennec foxes. There's so many different characters and so many different creatures, and she is a human. Now she wants to be a baker, and she is trying her hardest to make a living surviving as a baker because her parents passed away several years ago, and her orc neighbors decide to enter her into an elvish baking contest so that she can win the prize and make all her dreams come true. And she enters, and she goes into this elvish world, and she tries to win this baking contest, and it's so fun. She ends up making friends. She ends up having a little bit of a smidge of a romance, and there's a whole kind of drama behind it, of course, because she's human and humans have never won before. It's a whole thing, and she has no magic, but she's trying to compete against these people who do have magic, and it's really cute and it's really fun, and you get so many good characters in it. And then the side characters end up getting stories of their own, which are going to be in the subsequent books. So I think those are going to be so fun because it makes you want to like keep reading the story. But I've read the first one so far, and it was really sweet, and it was really fun, and it was such a good cozy fantasy that I was like, it just makes you feel good and kind of like warm and fuzzy inside. It's kind of like a mix between like a good baking show, like the Great British Bake Off, if it had like supernatural magical creatures and magic. And yeah, it was really fun, and I loved it. Highly recommend. And last but not least, if you know me, you'll be no surprise that this is my number 1 cozy fantasy recommendation, and that is The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst. This book is actually my favorite book of the year so far, so of course I'm going to be recommending that you read it as a cozy fantasy, especially this fall, because the second one recently came out, so you could kind of do 2 in a row. I need to read the second one still, but The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst follows our main female character, Keela. She works in a library, but a revolution begins and she is forced to flee, so she stuffs as many rare books as she can onto a boat. She takes Kaz, her sentient spider plant, who can talk. We love Kaz, and they sail off away, and they go to her home island where her parents are originally from, where she plans to hide out with these magic books until she can safely return back to the capital or wherever she needs to go. She gets there, she gets into her old house, she starts to kind of make a life for herself, and she starts a jam shop selling jam and some little magical spells to perhaps help the town that she's living in. She ends up meeting the villagers, starting a little bit of a romance, making some great friends, and it's so fun, it's so cute, it's so just cozy and amazing. I have recommended this book to basically everybody that I've talked to. My mom read it, my sister read it, they both enjoyed it, they both were like, yes, loved it. So if you're looking for a cozy fantasy, I highly recommend The Spell Shop. It's so fun. The characters they're really fun, and there's flying cats, there's talking plant, there's magic, there's different kinds of creatures, there's different storylines, there's like, I don't want to say second chance romance, that's not really what it is, but there's like reunion kind of. It's an interesting storyline in that, but There's some great friendships, there's found family, and I absolutely love it. I think it's so fun, I think it's so cozy, and I highly, highly recommend you read this book. I think that if you have not read this book, you should pick it up this fall and you should give it a read because it is a great cozy fantasy. It is a great read for fall. So those are my cozy fantasy recommendations for fall. I think that they are great books that you could pick up this fall. None of them are too heavy, none of them take too long to read, but they all have really fun storylines. They all have a little bit of a different storyline, and they all have a little bit of that fantasy magic in it, a little bit of that friendship, found family, romance, love, all that good stuff that's kind of just feel good for fall. Like, you want to cozy up in front of, like, I don't know if it's really fire season, but maybe like a bonfire. You have your mug of hot cider, and you have like your blanket around you or your sweatshirt on because it's finally sweatshirt season, and you get a cozy fantasy and you just enjoy. You just sit down and just have a great night. I think that that's what this book is great for. I think all of these books would be great for that, and yeah, I highly recommend, or medium recommend, you read these cozy fantasy books because I read them and I really enjoyed them. Okay, my friends, thank you so much for being here today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know any cozy fantasy recommendations you have in the comments below, because this is a genre I'm kind of dipping my toes into and haven't gotten too much into it yet. So I'd love, love, love recommendations from more cozy fantasy so I can read more. I can make more videos about it. And yeah, so if you have any cozy fantasy recommendations, throw them in the comments below. Also, let me know what book you're currently reading, because you know I love to chat books. Hope you guys have a fabulous week. Live well, read some books, go discover, my friends. Bye. Wishing you all a cozy, cozy fall.